Okay, so this week, we're going to go over our ERP. ERP is going to be eventually is going to be our main form of communication between us
Yeah,
processors,
I saw
between
the
the
email.
LO.
I saw the email of Gia.
Yeah, and I'm guilty of not updating myself, so that's something I have to work on myself as well. But we each have our own logins. Our main
Mhm,
page. Oh, let me share my screen. You can't even see it.
mhm.
Let me see.
Actually, we're also guilty, but at first we were not aware that, as we all know, as we know that Vivian and Leslie, what we know is only for the LOs, I guess.
Yeah. So
But we're not required to put the comments or the updates for the loan. So
yeah. Can you see my screen now?
yeah.
Okay. So when we well, I never log out, but once you log into our ERP, it's going to be our main page. Um, the top portion breaks down all of our things, and I know on Notion it does have certain training or I guess some recordings that Chia had done previously of how to use certain pages on this.
Mm-hmm.
So our view pipeline, that's going to be our all our loans that are active. On here it does break down. On here it does break down how you can search for a specific file as through a loan officer, through the processor, um, through the lender. Um, you can choose. You can. It'll this kind of it'll it'll shorten the search of the certain loan that you're looking for. Right down here, it does have different tabs as well. So anything that got funded already, it'll show. All our active ones are again the main page. It does have an inactive one, so anything that is for whatever reason didn't get funded but it got canceled, it does have it. You can look up through the loan ID is going to be the loan number on the file, but you can always look it up through the borrower's name. So if you're trying to look up, let's say you put Joe, it'll show up and it'll shorten the search that you're looking for. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so
Can
there's
you check? Yeah, can you check Peter because I tried to put my comment there earlier, so I don't know if it's correct.
so when you well, let me go back here. So we looked up Peter, right?
Yeah.
We click the loan number and it takes us into the actual page with all the updates. So if you scroll
Yeah,
down, it'll show the
I
comments.
actually put it there, and I don't know if it's correct.
Yeah. So whatever update that you have, you would just put on the comment. Um,
Mhm.
and it usually so this comment what we're trying to do is for us to be able to communicate more instead of the loan
Yeah.
officer coming up to us every hour
Mhm.
to ask for an update or like, hey, what's going on with this file. They can just come here and read the notes and they know if they still have questions, obviously they can ask. But we're hoping that with all these updates on the comments, it'll minimize that time and be able for us to be able to work more flowily. It also has all the updates here, the dates of everything. So when it was registered, it was submitted, disclosures, if we had loan docs when we requested it, when they were sent out. It does have our lock expiration. So all these dates are important for the borrow, well, for the loan to be, for it to smooth fluidly. So in order for us to be able to fund, the loan has to be locked. We have to have our initial disclosures out, or initial CD out. So all these dates here need to be updated as we are moving forward with the file as well. So not just on the comment section, but also our dates. So in order for us to update here, we would just click the edit button and it has our date section here. So any date that if, let's say we ordered docs today, we would just put when it got ordered. We would save it and it would be updated to show on that main page. If there are, you do have to be assigned as the processor assistant to be able to see a file. So if we, for whatever reason, GR and I forget to, and you can't see the ERP for you to be able to update, please let us know and we can assign you.
Mhm.
Okay, so again, our view pipeline is going to be for all our active files. Our prospect applicant. So this prospect applicant are any files that we are starting to work with, but we don't either if it's a purchase, we don't have a contract and they're moving forward. We've only issued a pre-approval letter, or if it's a refinance, we're still waiting on certain documents, or the borrower is still indecisive to move forward. So anything that's going to be our prospect applicant. This is where we would enter the information. So usually if it were to be a smooth and normal file, the bar would do the application online using our ERP system, right? Um, we would go to bar application and we can pull up this file, right? So we can go to Joshua Barnes. If we're working on the file and we request to do a prospect, you can click the Save Prospect Applicant. So let's say we're doing our initial review and Gia or I send the initial instructions and we require for the prospect applicant, you can just click if they do the application online, we will have that application. We do the prospect applicant, and everything gets saved up. Once we save it, we just have to update it. So in this case, the processor, the assistant, and then we can just scroll down through to see if anything else needs to be updated, and you would hit save, right? Or you can create the prospect applicant. So you have to go to this tab right here and then click on prospect applicant. And if this would be for anybody that does not do our online application and we have to create this application, this is how you would do it. You would just click the prospect applicant button that I just showed you, and you would have to input all the information. As you saw in the previous one, everything here was already updated, right? On here, we
Yeah.
would have to go through, put in the loan officer, um, if it's a company gen, again, processor, assistant, if we have the realtor's name, what type of loan this is going to be, and then borrower's information, property address, if they're where their current address is different versus the subject property. Um, so this is where they currently live. This would be the subject property that we're doing the refinance, right? And then again, we would have to complete this bottom section to indicate what type of loan this is. After we enter everything, we would just hit save, and it would save it, and it would just pop up here. So let's say we were working on this one, it'll have all the information here. Once we have this prospect applicant, we can update the comment section as well. Um, we can type in whatever update we have. Let's say we sent the initial structure to the LO. We would just type it up, hit submit, and it'll show up here. Let's see what else. Again, the bar application is where they sent us the LO or broker submission page. This page is where the loan officer has to complete. I think this is where you guys were initially putting that prospect applicant that we were requesting. This is for the loan officer. So they have to complete this information. It's similar to our prospect, but this is a LO confirming everything that we have. It has its escrow and title fees, and it has all their fees that they're trying to request. So this A section right here is important that the loan officer completes, because this is where we are going to go back to check their fees. So any origination fee, processing fee, underwriting fee. So let's say we have this was submitted. Let me see, where's the fee section? So you would hit view fee, and it'll show what fees the LO is charging. The message. So anything that you create that you add onto your prospect applicant, all that information, if you're the loan officer, that you can use this message and you can send an email or a message directly to the borrowers. So we hit message, you can type it in here, and usually you can send this as a massive email. So we do have certain tags here. So if it was something for realtors, we would just click here, and then you would type in the message, and then it'll send it to all the realtors that we have associated through our files, and it would just hit send, and it'll send it out. So this message tab is usually for loan officers. So we also have these lenders. These are all the lenders that we are currently working with. I don't know if they're going to be updating these, but probably for like an easier to find our contact information for these specific lenders. It could be. But other than that, that's about it. Our homepage does give us a quick button. If you don't want to go through the top ones, you can go to our prospect applicant new, and it'll take you directly to be able to create that prospect applicant. One more thing I do want to show you though. So the bar application, we had clicked this one to create the prospect applicant, right? Once it's in prospect applicant and we submit the file, you can just click on the bar that we're working, and now we can just save to pipeline. And it'll be the same thing. Everything that was already there will be transferred in here. We just have to update everything else. So in this case, our loan number, the lender that we're submitting it to, we'll click registered or submitted. And then we just go through this and complete everything. So the date it was registered, we'll say today, application was completed today, and it was submitted today. If we were able to send out disclosures, we can put it in today. If it was locked, we can put the date it was locked, for how long, and when it'll expire. If we're ordering appraisal today, let's say they signed the initial disclosures, we ordered the appraisal today, the date it's scheduled for, and the date the actual appraisal was received. Right. So this here property is going to be our subject property address. We would update it. Currently, it's probably blank because the prospect applicant has it as a TBD. And we would just complete this bottom section here as well. We would update the sales and estimated value, our rate, the type of lien, this case first, and then just hit save, and it'll be saved and it'll show up on your pipeline, on your active pipeline. If we don't have a prospect applicant, for whatever reason we forgot to create it, if you go to view pipeline, you register a new loan, and it's the same thing we just went through, except everything is blank and we have to complete everything. Does that make sense? Do
Yeah.
you have any
So
questions?
yeah, for clarification again and to know that we're on the same page. So after creating a prospect applicant, I have to move it to pipeline. Is that correct?
So after we create the prospect applicant, it'll be moved to pipeline once we submit the loan. So once we
Mm-hmm.
submit it to the bank and we get our loan ID number, that's when it gets moved to pipeline.
Okay.
So the first step is um, eventually, hopefully, the bar creates the application online.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we as Giving Tree creates the prospect applicant. So us processors, Gia, myself, or you girls. Um, After the prospect applicant and it gets submitted to the loan to the bank, we move it over to pipeline. So once it's in our pipeline, again, it'll have all the updated information, the dates here. Once it gets funded, once it's closed, it won't show on our main active pipeline, but it'll show on our funded pipeline. Again, we can just click on where it says funded, and it'll show which loans we worked on that were funded. Any questions?
For that, not so far, but